White people blame us for their problems. Let me give you a prime example. I'm in Roseburg, Oregon, right? You got a bunch of white meth addicts. They can't stop doing meth. They love meth. Meth is like water to them. And they blame black people for that. I hired a farmhand who was she identifies as a white guy, but he's fucking Hispanic. And he's sitting there talking about how, well, I used to have problems with black people because we used to blame them for their problems. You're blaming us for your problems. They are so used to us being slaves. They are so used to us cleaning their fucking houses, taking care of their goddamn kids, tending to their fucking fields, to the point where they cannot function on their own. Many of them, they're like children, like stupid, meth addict, inbred children. So I want you to understand something, right? Some of the animosity that you're seeing, like in places like Roseburg, Oregon, very, very white town, it's because they can't stop doing meth. They can't stop banging their fucking sister. So they want to blame you for it, for their own bullshit meth fueled actions.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll be talking about what the black people do to white people. And if it's the first time of coming into my channel, please do not fail to subscribe, like, share, turn on your notification bell, and drop your comments in the comment section. Credit belongs to the owners of the stitches I'll be attaching to this video. With that being said, let's dive into it.
The black community has long suffered under the weight of systemic racism and discrimination. As white people, it is our responsibility to use our privilege to support and uplift the black community. Here are a few ways that we can be better allies. Listen and learn. We need to listen to black voices and experiences without interrupting or dismissing them. We should educate ourselves on the history of systemic racism and the ways that it continues to impact the black community today. We should seek out resources, books, and documentaries that help us understand the issues. Next, speak up. We should use our privilege to speak up against racism and discrimination. We should challenge racist comments and behaviors, even if it's uncomfortable. Silence that which perpetuates racism. We should support black-owned businesses in our communities. We should advocate for policies that support economic justice and equity. Donate to black-led organizations. Financially support black-led organizations that are working to address systemic racism and inequality. It can be done through regular contributions or contributing to certain campaigns and initiatives. We should also use our platforms for good as white people. We have access to platforms and audiences that the black community may not have. We should use our platforms to amplify black voices and perspectives, raise awareness about issues affecting the black community, and promote positive change. Be open to feedback and learning from our mistakes, as we will make mistakes along the way. But it's important to acknowledge them, apologize, and learn from them. We should be open to feedback and willing to change our behavior and perspectives as we continue to learn and grow. Being a better ally to the black community requires a willingness to listen, learn, and take action. It requires us to use our privilege for good, support black-owned businesses and communities, and speak up against racism and discrimination. It's up to all of us to work towards a more just and equitable society, and being a better ally is an important step. If you like the content and benefit from it, give me a follow.
Do you know the reason that a lot of black Americans don't know how to swim is because of hate crimes? During segregation, black people were banned from most public pools, and when they finally got black-only public pools, white people would respond with violence. They would literally pour chemicals and acid into these pools that would harm black people. In 1964, at a motel, there was a peaceful protest, and a white manager responded by pouring acid into the pool where black people were already swimming. The worst thing is that once Jim Crow was over and segregation was federally made illegal, rather than integrate, many many cities completely shut down their pools. They were so upset by the legislation that they would rather deny access to everybody than allow white people and black people to mix. Today, 64% of black children don't know how to swim compared to 40% of white children, but that's not because of ability. It's because of a history of systemic exclusion. Crazy how many white people talk about this stereotype regularly without even knowing the history behind it. The hatred of white literally created a ripple effect through generations. This ties into why Hurricane Katrina was so deadly, because many black Americans were affected and many of them could not swim, which I will talk about in my next video. Bye!
To my white brothers and sisters, I'm not politically correct. I tell it like it is. When I hear someone say go back to your country, it's always from a white person directed at a black or brown person. But that makes no sense because our ancestors weren't from here, and we stole this land, and we're still colonizing it. And when I hear black and indigenous and people of color talk about reparations, I hear a white person in the background yelling reverse racism. But that makes no sense because white people have never been and are not being oppressed based on their race. So white people, I have a question. Why are you so afraid of losing your position in society? Why are you so afraid of losing the comfort that white supremacy has given you? Why are you so afraid of actual equality? Learn up.
When white people in the United States balk at the idea of paying reparations to black Americans who descended from slaves, they disagree with the Bible. Reparations are a form of compensation or restitution made to those who have suffered injustice, particularly those in cases of racial inequality, discrimination, and slavery. The idea of paying reparations to black Americans is not a new one. It has been a topic of discussion for decades, if not centuries. However, it has gained renewed attention and support in recent years following the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement and the growing recognition of systemic racism in American society. As a Christian, I believe that reparations are not only a matter of justice and equity, but also a reflection of God's character and values. In the Bible, we see numerous examples of God's concern for the oppressed, the marginalized, and the downtrodden. From the Israelites' liberation from slavery in Egypt to the ministry of Jesus among the poor and the outcast, we see a consistent theme of God's love for those who are on the margins of society. One of the key biblical principles that underlie the idea of reparations is the concept of restitution. In the book of Leviticus, we see God commanding the Israelites to make restitution to those whom they have wronged. Leviticus 6:1-5 says, "If anyone sins and commits a breach of faith against the Lord by deceiving his neighbor in a matter of deposit or security or through robbery, or if he has oppressed his neighbor or has found something lost and lied about it, swearing falsely in any of all the things that people do and sin thereby, if he has sinned and has realized his guilt and will restore what he took by robbery when he got it by oppression or deposit that was committed to him or the lost thing that he found or anything about which he has sworn falsely, he shall restore in full and shall add a fifth to it and give it to him to whom it belongs on the day that he realizes his guilt." This passage emphasizes the importance of making restitution to those who have been wronged and not just restoring what was taken, but adding to it as a form of compensation. This principle of restitution can be applied to the issue of reparations to black Americans who have suffered centuries of enslavement, discrimination, and systemic oppression. Another biblical principle that supports the idea of reparations is the concept of Jubilee. In Leviticus 25, God commands the Israelites to observe a Jubilee every 50th year, during which all debts are forgiven, all slaves to be set free, and all property to be returned to its original owners. This was a radical idea of economic justice designed to prevent the accumulation of wealth and power in the hands of a few and to ensure that all members of society had equal access to resources and opportunities. The idea of Jubilee can be seen as a model for reparations in that it seeks to address the root causes of inequality and oppression rather than just treating the symptoms. By forgiving debts, freeing slaves, and returning property, Jubilee seeks to create a more just and equitable society, one in which everyone has the opportunity to flourish. As a Christian, I believe paying reparations to black Americans is only a matter of justice and equity, but also it is a reflection of God's values and character. Through the biblical principles of restitution and jubilee, we see a model for how we can address the historical and systemic injustices that have plagued our society for far too long. While the issue of reparations is complex and contentious, I believe that as Christians, we have a responsibility to seek justice.
This video coming out of Chicago is crazy and it's not getting nearly enough attention. ICE agents in civilian clothing jumped out of an unmarked vehicle and grabbed this black man off the street without asking a single question. I don't know how anyone in their right mind could possibly agree with this or defend it. Take a look.
What's going on? What's up with you? Watch out, man. What y'all on with me? I got cameras.
Yeah, this is not law enforcement anymore, it is state-sponsored abduction, and I'm not even exaggerating. When ICE agents can hide their identity, operate in unmarked vehicles, and arrest people without due process, that's not policing, that is tyranny. This is the kind of tactic authoritarian governments use to terrorize civilians into silence. At this point, it's very safe to say ICE has crossed every single moral and constitutional line imaginable. They're no longer enforcing immigration law, they're targeting US citizens, racially profiling people, and operating like a secret police force. Dressing like civilians is a deliberate strategy to blur the line between law and lawlessness. Imagine living in a country where you can't tell if the person pulling you into a car is a cop, a federal agent, or a kidnapper. That is Trump's America. People are being taken off the streets by unidentified men for no reason, and we're supposed to call that security? And notice how they've transitioned from targeting people who they assume are Mexican or not born here to now attacking black people for no reason. The next step are Democrats.
I don't mean to say this like to be disrespectful, and maybe this is, some people are gonna think this sounds dumb, but I feel like there's a deeper reason why, you know, people of color and specifically the black community have been relentlessly persecuted. Like, I mean, just the things that happened during slavery alone, like, were insane. But I don't know, the more I learn about black history and the ways that, you know, people who literally worked in the government, like the CIA, all these different people in power were trying to ruin the black community. And it makes me think, dude, I feel like, is there something more going on here than just racism? Because it's like, come on, you're telling me you're doing all of this stuff just because you don't like someone's skin color? I feel like, what if, I have this theory that, like, what if black people have some type of superpower? Like, what if they have, I don't know, if they're just born with something very valuable that we don't really know about, but maybe, you know, like I said, these people, these rich people and these people in power, maybe they figured it out a long time ago, and maybe that's why they were like, oh, we have to, like, get rid of them, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I feel like maybe they have something special that we are not taught about that is linked to them being people of color, you know? And I've seen some black creators come on here and try to explain how special it is to have melanin in your skin and how it has all these different properties. But I don't know. I just feel like I have this theory that this goes so much deeper than maybe a lot of us realize, because I'm sorry, but I don't think you're going to go out of your way for all these hundreds and hundreds of years to try to ruin one group of people over something as silly as, oh, their skin is a different color. Like, I feel like there's something that we don't know. I'm telling you, there's something special about them that they don't want us to know. Okay, this is just something that I've been thinking about recently, and I'm like, maybe if there are some black creators that maybe they already made a video and I just didn't see it, I don't know, but like, I don't know, maybe this sounds dumb. Or maybe this is like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, but, you know, it's just something I was thinking about.
Wait until white people find out that the person that they pray to and call their savior and think that he's coming back. Wait until they find out that he was actually a person. Just remember, anytime you see the elites or whatever you want to call them trying to make us hate a specific person or thing, it's really just because that's the most powerful thing. They do everything in their power to make us hate black people. That's because these people are so powerful. These people have been here forever. White people did not pop up until about 5,000 years ago. Now, there's gonna be quite a few of white people that are gonna be mad at this because y'all think everything is about you, but I'm here to tell you that it's not, and it never was. Think about it. I don't know where the fuck white people came from, to be honest, but we are not meant to be in the sun. like how like black people are from Earth. They have been here a long ass time, bro. The sun loves them. The sun hates white people, okay? I'm just being honest. Part of that has to do with wearing sunscreen and sunglasses, but that's for a whole nother video. All of those ancient people from ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, those were... Ever notice how the nose are always chopped off on those ancient structures? That's because they don't want us to know the truth. I'm not gonna say too much about this photo because I don't want my video to get taken down again. But I mean, y'all see what's going on. A lot of things you've just been lied to, y'all. Pretty much everything is the opposite of what you think it is. There's a reason they want to divide black people. It's because black people are the most connected. They are very, very, very talented at singing, dancing, athletics, you name it. So many things are designed to limit them. I think that black women are the most powerful people on the planet because the number 2 things that the elites, whatever you want to call them, that they hate the most is women and black people. So there you have it, black women. Those are the people that we need to be listening to. Those are the leaders of the new earth. And I'm not saying other women aren't powerful, but there's just something about an enlightened black woman who is embodying her gifts that is just so powerful, y'all.
Question: what did black people do to white people? My short answer is nothing, absolutely, to deserve the embarrassment that the black people get. Black people did not commit some sort of historic wrong that white people are unable to forgive. That framing implies guilt or wrongdoing on the part of the black communities, which is very inaccurate and unfair. The reality is more complex and rooted in systems of power, fear, and control. It is not a personal wrongdoing by black individuals or communities. Now, historical views of anti-black racism in America, slavery and dehumanization is number 1. Black people were forcibly taken from Africa, enslaved, and treated as property for centuries. To justify this morally, white people or the white society created and spread racist ideas that black people were inferior, uncivilized, and dangerous. These lies became embedded in laws, education, religion, and culture. Number 2 is fear of losing power. After the abolition of slavery, white society feared what would happen if black people gained equality, economic competition, social elevation, political power. So systems like Jim Crow laws, mass incarceration were used to maintain control and limit the progress of the blacks. Number 3 is stereotypes and media. Generations of Americans were raised with media, literature, and religious teachings that reinforce racist ideas. Even today, many people inherit prejudice without understanding its root. Another thing is resistance to accountability. Some white people see conversations about racism, slavery, and reparation as a personal attack rather than a social or societal reckoning. So instead of facing historical truth, they feel guilt, shame, or anger. And some of them project that black people are the ones that are causing them to have divided society and all of that. So they are ignorant because they were never taught the full history of slavery, and they have this fear of change, fear of loss of privilege, change, and so on. And the next thing is power. Racism has always served the interests of the powerful, economically and politically. So now, let's go to the advice that I have. The question is, what can be done? Number one, education is very paramount. Learn and teach the real history. Learn and teach the real history. Promote critical thinking and anti-racist education in schools and communities. The next one is empathy. Challenge stereotypes by encouraging honest conversations across racial lines. Listening is very powerful, and so is stereotype. The next one is action, not just words. Support policies that support racial equality, I beg your pardon. So poor leaders and systems are accountable for this. Black identity, culture, and experience must be respected and not watered by creating false unity. True quality embraces difference without domination. So my final thought on this is that black people in America are not hated because of what they did. They are hated because of what racism did, protected, and refuses to let go of. So the challenge here is not for black people to be forgiven. It is for Americans to acknowledge, repent, and repair, because we are all humans and we are one. This video is not to lash at anyone, but it's for educational purposes. So if it's your first time of coming into my channel, please do not fail to subscribe, like, share, and drop your comments in the comment section. On this, drop your comments. Let's know. Let's see your observations, your comments, your question, and all of that. And credit belongs to the owners of the stitches I'll be attaching to this video. My name is Sanderverse. For now, I'll say peace and love until my next one. Bye for now.